am on the hunt for my Grail Disney pins. Last year, during my 12 Days of Pinsmas series, I did a video on the Disney pins I wish I had, in which I talked about some of my Grail Disney pins. And now a Grail pin is just any pin that you would really like but currently don't have. It can be that it is very rare and hard to find. It could be that it's too expensive. Any pin really where it's just kind of like out of your reach or your grasp and you really want it. So what I thought would be fun to do today was kind of do like an update video on that and see how well I am doing on the hunt for those pins, which ones I may have actually found, which ones I'm still looking for, which ones are ones that I'll probably never ever find. So since it's been 8 months since I've made that video, let's see how the search for those Grail Disney pins has been going. And also, if you stick around to the end of this video, I'm going to be doing a little pin giveaway. I'm going to go through the pins in the order that I went through them in the original video, which I will link in the description. So we're going to start off with the Judy Hopps WDI LE250 Heroine Profile Pin. I'll also kind of add in with this the Nick Wilde profile pin. At the time of making the video, the pin hadn't actually been released, but everybody was kind of expecting it would be coming, so it'd be really cool to have that matching set of Nick and Judy profile pins. However, search for these is not looking too good. These pins fall in the category of ones that I probably will not ever own. So in terms of the search for them, they are out there. You can find them, but only if you have many $100s to spend. You can currently get the Judy Hopps profile for $630 on eBay. The last ones sold for $530. The Nick Wilde one does go for a little bit cheaper. You can currently find him for $475 on eBay, with the last one sold for $350. So unless the value and price of these pins comes down hundreds of dollars over time, which I don't know if they ever will, these ones really are just totally, fully inaccessible. I basically have my set rule that I never spend more than about $50 to $55 on a single pin. So any money that I do get from pins comes from my YouTube revenue and then also my ear sales. So with pins like this, I could either like go on a Disney vacation or buy a singular pin, and I would always much rather choose to save up my money for a vacation and experiences of the like. The next pin I had on the list was also a WDI profile pin, and it was the Penny profile from The Rescuers. I do have the Madame Medusa villain profile, so like I kind of like the matching set of Nick and Judy. It'd be really cool to have the villain and heroine together. The Penny pin actually is more accessible. You can currently find it on eBay for about $200, and the last one sold for about $180, so these definitely are cheaper. In the past, I have seen it sold for even less, closer to $120, which is still way more than I could ever spend, but it definitely is a little bit closer to more of the accessible range. It's something that maybe if I could get a few higher end traders together, I could potentially trade for it. So I'm not quite putting this in the list of like never ever gonna happen. This one, I'm still kind of, on the lookout for. So next Grail I am on the hunt for is the Zootopia Beloved Tales pin. This is from the Disney Studio Store Hollywood, I believe in LE300. So currently you can find some of these for sale for around $200 on eBay, but the interesting thing is this pin has been scrapped. So there are now both authentic and faked versions of this pin out here, and some of the most recently sold versions of this pin have actually been the fake versions. One of these from a UK seller actually sold for $12, and I'm very sorry to say that somebody paid $70 to a US scrapper seller for a fake version of the pin. With this pin now, you absolutely only want to find it on a backer card. Having it off of the backer card is way too risky with authenticity, but when a pin does get faked, that does often mean that its value tends to go down because there are more, at least inauthentic ones in circulation. So if I spent only like $12 on a fake version of this pin, I would still kind of be happy to have it, but as like a really hardcore Zootopia collector, it would be really nice to get a real version of the pin. And just an interesting tidbit, I've come across pin makers and people online that have been contacted by the factory that makes these bootlegged versions of these higher end pins, offering them for like a few bucks a piece. So if you go direct to the source, you can get the bootlegs for pretty cheap. Ironically, the next pin that's on my list is also a pin that has been faked, and that is the Judy Hopps Pin Trader Delight. There are tons of fakes on eBay that have sold for all around $20, but the authentic ones seem to go for between $75 and $120. So because this is a pin that I'm like looking for a deal on, I don't want to pay $75 for it. So it's really difficult to weed through between, is this one just a fake one, which there's basically two sellers that just kind of keep selling the fake ones, or is this coming from a legitimate source, again, because I do want a real Judy for my collection. Nowadays, Pin Trader Delights are sold on backer cards in cellophane wrapping, so it is so much easier to guarantee the authenticity of them. But this Judy came out, that's when DSSH just sold them in like the little Ziploc bags. They came in from the factory. So I'm still on the hunt for the Judy. Gonna be a little bit difficult to find a real one. But along with this, I am also on the hunt for the Nick Wilde Pin Trader Delight. This Nick one has not been faked, and it is very difficult to find. For some reason, this Nick pin was just so popular. I mean, as a Zootopia collector, I love it because it's a super cute PTD, but its value has just stayed super, super high over time. There's one currently listed on eBay for $250, but there haven't been any recent sales. So this one, it's one that doesn't actually pop up too often, but it's also not sold too often, so people aren't really wanting to pay that high price. Maybe the price will come down. Maybe I'll one day get this. I have all of the other Zootopia PTDs aside from this Nick and Judy, so they'll still be on my Grail list, so hopefully I can have a full complete set of Zootopia Pin Trader Delights. Next on my Grail hunt is this Rescuers Wdi Diamond Pin. This was released as part of a series for Disneyland's 60th Diamond birthday celebration, but it works perfectly with the Rescuers because it's like the Devil's Eye Diamond. So I really like this for my collection, and there's one currently on eBay for about $100. There haven't been any recent sales, so that's honestly not too bad for a WDI pin. This is definitely something that I can hope may come down a little bit more in price over time, or again, something that might be accessible if I can get some more traders and trade for it. So that one I'm still on the hunt for, but prospects are looking a little bit better. A pin that the prospects are not looking too good for is this Kronk Good vs. Evil film strip from the Have a Laugh pin set from the Imagination Gala. This is from an LE 150 framed set from a few years ago. So any pin that's in a frame set is rarer because people are less likely to break up the frame set, and then it's also just an LE of 150. There is one on eBay for sale for $200. There aren't any currently sold. This one, if I ever did end up finding it, I have to get like super lucky with, you know, somebody kind of liquidating a collection and just listing a whole bunch of stuff. Kronk is my absolute favorite Disney sidekick, and you know I love Emperor's New Groove, so I'd love to have this Grail, but it's not looking too likely. However, not to fear, I have actually had some luck on my Grail hunt over these past 8 months, and I was able to find the Yzma Big Head Kitty Disney Studio Store Hollywood pin. So here she is in all her glory. It's so nice to actually have a Grail pin and have it in your hands. My favorite niche thing to collect is Yzma as a kitty cat, and this is a great Grail to own. So I found this Yzma kitty on eBay. It was very much the max of my budget, but the cheapest I had seen it, which was for $55. I'm pretty sure that month I had done extra well in ear sales and was kind of like, I gotta go for it. And I'm kind of happy that I did it because I haven't seen it this cheap. Right now it's on eBay for about $85. So sometimes you just gotta play the patience game and hope you find something at a good enough price. But now we turn to the other end of the spectrum in the Grail hunt, to the never in a million years ever gonna happen, and that is the Emperor's New Groove Disney Auctions LE 100 villain pin with Yzma and Cusco, and it's a spinner, and on the back is Yzma as a kitty. So this means that I'll pretty much never be able to be a completist of Yzma Kitty Cat. Aside from this one, there are probably at least 1 or 2 pins that I also don't have, but this pin is so rare that there's none listed on eBay, there's none currently sold. There is another Emperor's New Groove LE 100 Disney Auctions pin available on eBay for $850. So I think I have seen this pin pop up on eBay before and was also listed at a similar price amount. I'd probably have to trade like half of my pin collection if I wanted to get it, would never be able to afford it, so this pin is both nearly impossible to find and to afford. But this next pin, there is probably hope that I could get lucky with it and eventually find it, and that is the Por favor manténgase alejado de las puertas Walt Disney World monorail sign pin. It's just that this pin is a slightly older pin. I think it was a surprise release. So there are some listed on eBay for about $60. Recently sold ones have gone for it in between $40 to $60. So this is one I could see maybe getting lucky if it kind of came up for auction, and I feel like this is a pin most people aren't super actively looking for. I really want this pin because I also majored in Spanish in undergrad, and I always loved the whole monorail spiel. I have a shirt that also says, "Por favor, manténgase alejado de las puertas." So this one I'm still on the hunt for, but it is out there. It's a little bit more accessible, but I wouldn't want to spend like $50 on this pin. Next on my Grail hunt list is a pin that I still have never physically seen aside from it being on PinPics. I've never seen it for sale, for trade, anywhere. And it is this Hong Kong Disneyland housewarming pin with Mickey and Minnie and macarons and cupcakes, and it is everything that is so cute and just like the epitome of a perfect Hong Kong Disneyland pin. I don't know why I've never seen this pin. I know it's obviously like a really cute pin and probably highly desired, but I've just never seen it come up for sale anywhere ever. So the hunt for this one is just not looking too good because I don't even know where to start. I wouldn't even know what its value is. I'm assuming it would probably have a pretty high value just because it's so rare. For this one, I'll just have to keep dreaming. But one pin that I no longer have to dream about is the Disneyland 50th Anniversary Marquee pin sign because I have it. If you watched my video on the best Disney pin deals I've gotten on eBay, you'll probably recognize this pin. And that is why I have this Grail pin, because I got it for a pretty good deal on eBay. Micah wanted to join for a little bit. So that Marquee pin actually was an open edition pin as part of Disneyland's 50th anniversary, but since that's been quite a while ago, it has just kind of gotten a little bit more rare and valuable. So mostly you find them on eBay for about $60 to $70, but I got mine on eBay for $26 shipped. So I was like, perfect, that's a deal, a Grail found and checked off the list.
Micah says, I'm so happy for that. I love pins too.
So that so far makes 2 pins off my Grail list that I have been able to find, but we can now up that to 3 because my next pin on my list was this Falling Pins road sign from the Trade City event. So this pin I had wanted for my geology pin collection because it's like a play on the Falling Rock sign, and it's a perfect little combination of little pins and Disney and geology. So this one is a limited release from a quite older pin event, so you just don't find it that much, but I actually got this on eBay only for $12. I think it was Daniel who alerted me that this was on eBay, so thank you for that, because right now there are none currently listed. So this is kind of one of the lucky ones where you don't really see it listed that often, but when it does come up, you can get a pretty good deal on it, and you can mark a Grail off the list. Next on my list is another road sign pin that I am far less closer to getting, and that is a Tokyo Disney road sign where it's like a volcano erupting little Mickey head icons. And I also want this one for my geology pin collection because I also do volcanology research. And no, that doesn't mean volcanology, it means working with volcanoes. This pin, there are none for sale on eBay, there are none recently sold. I think a while ago I did see on eBay, but it was like listed for $80 from Japan. I haven't yet done my Disney pins around the world video for Tokyo Disney Resort, but Tokyo Disney does have pins, just not pin trading. But because of that, there's not a huge integration of Tokyo collectors in the broader international collecting community. So I wonder if this pin just really isn't being added to eBay International, or the international Japanese sellers who do ever have it kind of understand it's maybe a little bit more rare and price it more highly. But if you have any tips or leads for finding this pin, please do let me know. I have another volcano related pin on my Grail list that I'm also no closer to, but maybe a little bit easier to find, and that is the Stitch Volcano Science Fair pin. I think it's probably a Disney shopping, maybe an LE100, so definitely quite rare. There is one on eBay for $170, but there haven't been any recently sold. So maybe this pin might just be a little bit too rare and a little bit too expensive for me to ever get, but this would just be so perfect for my geology collection. Maybe I can get lucky, but still on the hunt for this pin. And so that was the last technical full pin from my Grail wish list, but I did add in kind of a bonus one, and that was I wanted to find another one of my Mickey geode pins. So I do already have this one, and I've talked about it a lot, and I have it in a framed pin set. I got it with the intention of just breaking up the pin set, but then once I saw it and it was just all packaged nicely, I just couldn't do it. So I would like to find another one so that I can wear it for my dissertation defense. And then it'd be also just nice to wear to like open house activities and whatnot. If I don't find it, maybe I will just open up the frame set when I defend, but it's LE75 and it kind of breaks my heart. However, there are none of these pins listed on eBay. None of them have been recently sold. But if any of you see another Mickey Mouse geode pin, you know, think about your friendly mousely geologist. So that's 16 to 17 pins on this list depending on how you take it, and I have found 3 of them in the last 8 months. There are a few that do seem attainable if I continue to be patient and maybe get lucky on eBay, and there's also a chunk on there which, you know, I'm just gonna dream about them for a while. They'll stay on this list probably for years and years. Maybe they'll never come off, but I'm sure there'll be new pins coming on. So in my video last week talking about the pin releases I'm most excited for, I noted some of the Wdi pins coming out at the D23 Expo. There is an Yzma Kitty one, there is an Yzma and Kronk one, and then also a Madame Medusa one. So those are definitely Grail worthy. And then they hadn't released this in time for that video, but Disney Studio Store Hollywood previewed all the pins that they'll be coming out with at the D23 Expo, and they're releasing multiple Emperor's New Groove pins, a Beloved Tale, and a Marquee. They're also releasing an amazing Judy Hopps Heroine pin. So those would definitely all be new ones to put on my Grail list. So hopefully this was kind of interesting to see like the current status update of, you know, the hunt for these Grail pins. Yes, you can definitely find Grail pins off your list. It often just takes patience and maybe being a little bit lucky, but over time you can work toward that Grail that you're looking for. And so now I finally wanted to end this video with a little giveaway. I'm doing a little bit of pin karma. So I just released my latest pin design at Desert Mouse Pin Shop. It is a pin trader pin that says "Trade with me and I love pins." So I thought this would be perfect as a way to kind of show your pin trader pride, and also as a way when you're in the Disney parks to let other guests know that you're open to trading pins. I know trading with cast members always isn't the greatest just because there's so many fakes to weed through, but you might see other guests with lanyards and you just don't know if they're kind of for trading, if they're interested in trading or just showing off a collection. So I wanted this as a way to kind of be able to say, hey, you know, I have pins, feel free to trade with me. So I wanted to give away 3 of these pins, meaning I'll be choosing 3 winners. To enter, you of course have to be a subscriber to my channel, and please do like this video, but just leave a comment with your #1 top Grail Disney pin. It can be a Grail that you currently own or one that you're still looking for. The giveaway will remain open for 1 week, so you can enter from now until Wednesday, May 28th, and then I'll be picking just 3 random comments. This is open internationally as well, and of course if you're under 18 you do need your parents' permission to enter. But if you'd like to see any of my other pins, I always have my Desert Mouse Pin Shop linked in the description. So good luck on the giveaway, good luck hunting for all your Grails, and thanks for watching!